When you're ready to print, choosing some print options first can save you time and paper. In this lesson, you learn to change the page orientation, hide or view grid lines when printing, and preview and print a worksheet. Let's get started. In step 1, I'll click cell A20, and this is where you'd type your name. Then I'll click the Enter button. In step 2, on the ribbon, I'll click the Page Layout tab. And notice this outline, which indicates the default print area. The print area is the area that will be printed. Excel is smart enough to figure out that you usually just want to print up through the cells that contain some kind of data. If you ever need to print more or less than that, you can use the Print Area button in the Page Setup group to change it. In step 3, in the Page Setup group, I'll click the Orientation button. Then I'll click Landscape. That changes the orientation to landscape, so the contents will print across the long edge of the paper instead of across the short edge. In step 4, I'll click the Orientation button again and click Portrait. And the orientation returns to Portrait. In step 5, in the Sheet Options group, under Grid Lines, notice there are checkboxes for both View and Print. Most people agree that these lines make the data easier to read, but they will not print unless the Print checkbox is selected. So I'll click to add a check mark. Then I'll save my work. In step 6, I'll click the File tab. Then on the navigation bar, I'll click Print. This tab shows exactly how your output will look, and it lets you change many print settings. In fact, it can be more useful to change settings here, if the option is available, because you can preview your changes. Notice that when I click the Orientation button and click Landscape, you can see exactly how that orientation would look. Let me just change that back to Portrait Orientation. In step 7, I'll review my settings. I want to print one copy, and I want to use my Brother MFC 8500 printer. I want to print in Portrait Orientation, on letter-sized paper. I want to use the normal margins, and I don't want to scale the printout to print it larger or smaller. If I wanted to make any changes, I'd just click an option and click a different choice. So I'll click the Print button. In step 8, I'll exit Excel. Exiting the program closes the workbook automatically. To try these steps yourself and to see some additional tips, turn to page Excel 16 in your book. You can also learn how to print worksheet formulas instead of their results in a printout. And you can get an introduction to the Scale to Fit option, which makes it easy to print large amounts of data on a page if you're trying to reduce your paper use.